What's up, YouTube? It's your boy JB, and we are here today with the review for Love After Lockup Season 4, Episode 7, you guys. Sorry that I missed last week's episode. I wasn't feeling it, but we're back this week. So, Episode 7, titled, Where Are You Hiding? Now, you guys, before we go ahead and get into this review, if you guys are watching this video or any other on the channel and are not subscribed to the channel, I need you guys to do me that favor. Stop taking out in this day and having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know you can do that by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications, and sharing the video. And you guys, with that out the way, without further ado, let's discuss Love After Lockup. I was about to say Married at First Sight. This is Love After Lockup. All right, guys, so I'm going to start up with Chance and Taylor. Actually, nope, we're not going to start up with Chance and Taylor. We'll start up with Kayla and Martell. One really much with Kayla and Martell in this episode. So we find out that Martell, he's about to get out of the halfway house, right? So then we see Kayla. So Kayla lets us know he apologized to her. Her and Martell right now seems like they're in a good spot with each other, right? So then we see her. She go meets his cousin Bobo down at the cleaning supply store, right? I was like, girl, no, you not. So you're at the cleaning store because of him having a hissy fit about some sprinkles of crumbs or whatever on the stove. Okay, girl. So she says that they're working towards their future, right? So when she met up with the cousin is telling us that, she doesn't really know Kayla like that. Like, she's only met Kayla here and there at some family functions, but she doesn't really know her that well, right? But Martell did call her and told her about the apartment being dirty. Once again, that apartment was not dirty. It had a speck of little something on the stove. It had some clothes. Like, he's acting like she was living in a pigsty. But okay, whatever. So the cousin lets us know that she's dated somebody that was in prison before. They moved in together, but it didn't work out, right? And then she was talking about Martell and how with him being out of jail, the girls are gonna be coming after him. She's like, why? Because he got that good meat. She's like, what do you mean a good meat? She said a good dick. When the cousin said he got good dick, I was like, ma'am, should you be saying that on television? And then the way that you said it, it made me think like, girl, have you fucked your cousin before? Because I was just like, girl, that just didn't sound right the way that it came out your mouth. But hey, whatever, right? But she's also saying, she said this to us, and I don't remember if she said this to Kayla, but basically, she knows her cousin, she loves her cousin, right? But she also, like she said, she's been with someone that was in prison before, so she kind of feels like, girl, they'll tell you whatever they want to tell you when they in jail, right? They'll say these pipe dreams and whatnot, but once they get out of jail, that can go by the wayside, right? They are one person in them letters, in them visitations. Then when they get their release date and they get out their halfway house or get out parole, probation, whatever they own, baby, they turn into a whole different person. And I really hope Kayla heeds the warning signs, because I really believe that Martell probably got somebody else on the side that ain't Kayla, but I hope not, but that's the vibe that I get. But you guys, we're going to pause here and we're going to move forward. Let's talk about Rick and Ray Dean. Honestly, with Rick and Ray Dean, so yeah, I want Rick and Ray Dean off this show because there's nothing there. Ray Dean may have feelings for Rick, right? But Ray Dean is a lesbian, right? She wants Kay. Now, I don't know when Kay is supposed to get out of jail, but Ray Dean don't want Rick, right? So we see Rick, her brother, her mama, and her daddy, right? So they were going to go pick her from the halfway house because she's getting out the halfway house, right? They were talking about it was cold. And I'm thinking to myself, when has it been cold in Texas? Because it hasn't been cold here. I mean, well, it got cold here in February, a little bit of that week, like maybe a week in February. Maybe a week in February it was cold, but it ain't been though. It was hot as hell on Christmas Day. It was Christmas Day. It was hot as fuck. I remember it. Christmas was hot because I had to turn my air sky high in my car. What else? New Year. It wasn't cold on. It wasn't cold then either. That cold front didn't come until that gush of rain. Oh, damn. Because that's really the only time that it's really gotten cold here in Texas this year is when we had the ice storm, the snow. Well, was it snow or was it that little snowstorm that came through here? That was the only time it was gotten cold here, and that was in February. So I feel like this might be recent, like real recent for Radine and Rick. But they picked her up, right? So they were 30 minutes late picking up Radine from the halfway house, right? So they went out to eat. It was her mom, her dad, her brother, and Rick, right? And you guys remember, Rick's whole thing is he's thinking that Radine, now that she's out of prison, that Radine is going to be coming and living with him and his roommate, which I still think that is an odd situation. I'm still looking at that situation like, really? Y'all were okay with this? No. But you guys know Radine has her demons, right? She has her battle with drug addiction, right? And I think it's a good idea for Radine to stay with her family because that's exactly what it is. But she didn't let Rick know that situation that she's going to be staying with her family, right? So Rick is in his feelings about this, and I'm like, but I mean, let's go back to the episode where he met her mom and her dad, right? Remember, her dad said that he wanted Radine to come and stay with them because of her past history with drugs. He wanted her to stay with them so that they can be there for her. Now, here's the question that I have, right? Was her daddy on drugs? And I'm not being funny and I'm not being shady, but her daddy would look like he was on drugs. But Rick has been on drugs. Baby, how can any of y'all help anybody? What Radine really needs to do is she needs to find someone that can sponsor her. And maybe it could be her father, right? Because it looked like he's been off the shit for years, right? Rick gives me the vibe that he can dibble and dabble in the drugs, and that wouldn't be good for Radine, right? So then we see Radine. She's dropping Rick off at somebody's dropping somebody off at home, right? So she tells us that she didn't want to stay with Rick, right? Because Rick is gonna want to have sex, right? And that is the vibe that Rick gives. That Rick is just serious about sex with her, right? So she lets us know that when they did have sex the first time, right? It was okay, right? But Rick got emotional after the situation, and then he wanted to bring up the situation with her and Kay, right? And you guys know she said Kay ain't going nowhere, right? And I honestly believe her, right? The thing is with Radine and Rick, I do believe that Radine does have feelings for Rick, but I think that her feelings for Kay are stronger. And like I said, it's okay. She's a lesbian, right? I really would love for her to say, hey. But she did say that though. She did say, which episode? Was that the episode when she was at Thanksgiving dinner where she said she was a lesbian? But her daddy said, no, you're bisexual. No, daddy. Radine is full-blown lesbian. A full-blown lesbian. Let's keep it real. She's a lesbian. She's a lesbian. She may be having sex with men, but she's a lesbian. Lesbian. Alright, guys, so we're going to pause here and we're going to move forward. Let's talk about Chazz and Bronwyn real quick. With Chazz and Bronwyn, I was looking at Chazz this entire episode. Actually, I've been looking at Chazz for the last few episodes. I'm like, Chazz looks very familiar, right? I'm like, he looks like somebody that I know. Well, not personally that I know, right? But he looks like a celebrity, right? And then I finally thought about it in last night's episode. I was like, that is exactly who Chazz looked like. So if you guys remember, Orange is the New Black, right? Remember the lesbian character, Boo, that was the butch lesbian in the prison with the tattoos and the buzz cut? I might have a picture, but go Google Boo and look at Chazz. Identical twins. He had a twin sister out there, right? So I missed last week's episode. So last week's episode, he had picked up he picked up Bronwyn. I keep on calling this girl Bronwyn so badly. Bronwyn. He picked Bronwyn up from prison, right? For Chazz acts like he has literally never been with a woman the way he is with Bronwyn. He acts like he has never touched a woman. He acts like he's never sniffed a woman. He acts like he's never had sex with a woman. He literally just acts like this is his first time being with a woman. So when they got in the car, it was very awkward, right? Especially when he kissed her, I'm like, oh God, that was cringeworthy, right? And I'm looking at the interactions between Bronwyn and Chazz, and I'm just like, I don't really get the vibe that she's really into him. It just gives me the vibe that, I don't know. I just don't know that she's really into him. What really threw me was when Chazz told her to reach in the back seat and get that bag. So she got the bag, and when she was flipping through them cars, I was like, sir, you may want to take your stuff, because didn't you say she went to jail for identity theft? That's your personal information. Take it from her. So he proposed to her. They're going to get married. What is it with the men that always want to spring these weddings on people, right? We had it with John and Christiana with that Native American wedding. Now we got it with Chazz and her. Somebody else, not somebody else did I don't know if somebody else did a wedding, but I know somebody else had a situation where their significant other got out of jail. They went somewhere. They had clothes for them. I can't remember who was it, where they got dressed in a public bathroom. What is it with y'all in parks and public bathrooms, baby? Absolutely not. I am not about to change my clothes in no god dang on public fucking bathroom. That is nasty. And then when she said that the restroom there, the public restroom, the park restroom was nastier than the prison restroom, I'm like, ugh. Now that's saying a lot, but park bathrooms are nasty. Like whenever I go to the park, I try my hardest not to go in there and use the bathroom, right? So they get married, right? So she said she's been in jail for 11 years, right? She said she's been in jail and prisons for 11 years. Did she say she's been off and on parole since she was 18? Girl, what the hell were you doing at 18? My God. Lord Jesus, right? So then we also find out that she has a curfew, right? So she can't be out past 6 p.m. because her PO says ain't nothing happening after 6 p.m. Where y'all stand at? Because after 6 p.m., now if you're talking about during the week, maybe, but on the weekend, come on, sir, you can't give her at least 9 o'clock? Because I mean, I know here in Dallas, right, especially on Saturday nights and Sunday nights, it's popping. If you go to Uptown, if you go to, there's the gay strip, if you go McKinney Ave, like if you go to those places, it's starting to get lit around 9 o'clock. Like people starting to show up about 9 o'clock, right? Now on Sundays we have, Sunday Fun Day, and that's still Midtown, Uptown. Midtown, Uptown, one place that I try not to go, and when I say I try not to go, you guys, it's not that it's a bad place, it's that it's crowded. Deep Ellum. But you know what? Deep Ellum has had a lot of crime down there lately. There's been a lot of crime in Deep Ellum lately. There's been a lot, because there was a shooting down there recently. But that's neither here nor there. I'm like, so you can't give her a little bit of more time? But so we also find out that she's gonna be staying with Jessica, these are her words, not mine, her baby daddy, because he's the only one that's clean. I'm like, damn, the fuck? And Chazz kind of feels some type of way about that. So then they go to Jessica's baby daddy. What is his name? I don't know. We'll get it. She go to her baby daddy house. She sees the room. They get in the bed. She's like, well, he doesn't want us to have sex in his place, and so that's where I was coming in at. Like, I don't know what to feel with Chazz and Bronwyn, because it feels like one minute she likes him, but then when he was talking about having sex with her, she said no. She said she was gonna go take a bubble bath. She said no. He asked what she's gonna do when she get out. She said go to sleep. So it just kind of feels like I'm kind of confused. I'm like, does she like him or does she not like him? You guys let me know what you think, because I just don't know what to think or feel with these two. But we're gonna pause here and we're gonna talk about the next couple. All right, you guys, let's talk about Chance and Taylor real quick, right? have an issue with Taylor. Like Taylor just, she just gives. I'm trying to think of the nicest way to say it. Remedial. That's the nicest thing I can say. She gives remedial, right? So Bobby left after the situation that happened with them in the last episode, where she overheard, Taylor and Chance talking about her, right? My issue still comes in with Taylor with the fact of you don't like. Are you oblivious to it, or you just don't want to see it? But this man is literally coming in between you and your sister, and you're allowing it. And I have an issue with that, right? This is your twin sister, someone that you had a connection with since the womb. This is a dude that you met in prison. Baby, first of all, y'all, I don't have the best relationship with my old, well, I'm gonna talk about my younger brothers and my sister, right? Because I don't talk to them as much as I should, but I love all my siblings. But like, if I'm dating somebody and one of my siblings living with me and they say, oh, well, I think your brother or your little sister, they need to stay in the basement, or, oh, they supposed to be watching your kids, but they ain't doing this and this and that, so we need to do this and this and that. I'm like, first of all, pump your brakes, right? Pump your brakes. You talking about my brother, and you talking about one of my brothers or my sister. That's my family. Like, they gonna always be my brothers or my sister. They're always gonna be my siblings, no matter what. We can fall out today, and they still gonna be, at the end of the day, they are still my brothers, my sister, whatever, like cousins, anybody. That's my family. So you can't come in here and tell me nothing about my family. Absolutely not a damn thing. If anybody's gonna check my brothers, my sister, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, anybody gonna say something to them, he's gonna say it. You mind your business, right? Mind the business that pays you. Oh, that's right, you just got out of prison and you probably ain't making that much money. Mind your business, right? So, Bobby and Taylor were on the phone, right? She told her, like, I heard what he said, and I heard what you said, right? And Bobby's whole thing is, we all know Bobby was in prison, right? And Bobby basically recognizes game, right? And I also have an issue with Taylor because she's talking about the fact that Bobby has an issue with drug addiction, right? And that Bobby OD'd, I think she said twice. So if you know that your sister has this issue, why would you do something so stupid? It just doesn't make any lick of sense to me. Like, it's the dumbest shit. It's dumb as fuck. And I just don't like it, right? So then Chance changed his mind once he says, actually Bobby told her, Chance, that it wasn't cool, him saying that she can't watch the kids, right? And my notes say Chance has opinions that he just needs to keep to himself, right? So then we see Taylor, I said remedial, right? Now in my notes I said she gives short bus vibes. So she talked to Bobby again, right? And Bobby says, you know what, I'm just gonna stay gone at this point, right? And Chance said he texted her trying to apologize when he realized what she does around the house, right? I'm like, oh, so now that you realize how valuable she was, now you want to sit down and be like, oh, I'm sorry, let me apologize to you, let me make this better, let me make this right. Chance, do me, you, and Bobby a favor and jump off at the next train to hell. Go to hell with no respect. Talking about he respects her, that's a lie. A lie, don't care who tells it. All right, guys, next up, let's talk about Lacey and Antoine. Lacey's gonna annoy me. I can see that right now. Lacey, it feels like Lacey is like, she's trying to come in between Antoine and Chrissy, right? Now, granted, we heard Chrissy say that Antoine wasn't worth nothing, right? But that's her son, and it's just like, ma'am, he wants to see his mother. You're coming in between that. Why? Anytime about you feel like she's a bad influence, That's his decision, not yours to make, right? So they woke up the next morning after having sex. He said he said he was ready to be. I was like, okay, I guess, right? Then he thought he was hungry, right? I keep looking at Antoine with this hair and everything. Antoine just kind of looks like the Unabomber, not being shady. He looks nomadic. That's a better word. He looks nomadic. So where are we at? Where are we at now, right? So she's talking about the ride home and him wanting to see his mother. Like I said, she just feels that him going around Christy would be a bad influence. Once again, Lacey, this is his mother. If he wants to be around his mother, if he wants to have any kind of dealings, communication with his mother, that is his prerogative, right? That is his mother. If you continuously try to come in between him and his mother, that's going to drive a wedge between you and him, right? Now, here's another question. When she was talking about her ex-husband, she said they were together for 20 years. But doesn't it say she's in her 30s? And I was just thinking to myself, like, were y'all married for 20 years? Or did y'all date? Were y'all in a relationship for 20 years? Then y'all got married? Even that still sounds weird, right? Because if she's in her 30s and you got married and you've been with him for 20 years, that means you were a teenager. So you mean to tell me you guys were like high school sweethearts, you dated, and then when you got out of high school you got married? I'm because the timeline and the math, it just doesn't add up. It doesn't equate, right? So Antoine basically tells Lacey like, hey, the situation with you and my mom, we got to figure something out. We got to make that shit right, because that is ultimately, at the end of the day, I keep saying that, but ultimately that is his mother. Granted, she has some not so nice things to say about her son, but that is her son. And even when you do look at Christy, and when we saw Christy, she does give the vibe that she is one of those overbearing mothers, right? One of those mothers that, when it comes to their sons, they have always put them on this pedestal of like, that's my boy, like how some mothers say he looks at, he protects his mama. And I'm a mama's boy, right? But I was never one of those kids where my mom, it was like an uncomfortable relationship where, it's like she's making her son her man. That was never the case with me and my mother, but that's what I get with not Lacey, but Antoine and his mama, right? Like I said, my mom, I was a mama's boy, right? But when it comes to me and my mom, our relationship was just like this, right? I will say, that was my best friend, and I know I was hers, right? We loved each other, right? But even when I got to a certain age, she told me, because I used to be like, can I sleep with you, mama? She's like, no, Jerome, go sleep in your bed. And if I fall asleep on her bed, some nights she would let me, there were a few nights where she would just like, I ain't even got time, because I sleep hard as hell, right? So there would be some nights where she would like, you know what, forget it, just later. And she'll put the cover over me, right? Some nights she would kick me, Jerome, go to your room. Or I would wake up and go to my room, right? So yeah, I guess what I could have said is codependent, right? Our relationship wasn't codependent, but that's what I get from Antoine and Christy. So then after that, they go golfing, right? And when they went golfing, it looked like they went to what's that golf place called? My little cousin used to work for them. What is the name of that golf place? I can't even think of the name of the golf place. And it's a lot of them here in Dallas. It'll come to me after I finish this video. But they went golfing, right? Top Golf, that's it. So they went golfing, and I was like, Lacey, why did y'all go golfing? You ain't think that maybe this man feels a little bit uncomfortable? I mean, he just got out of jail. He was in solitary confinement for 23 hours, and then he come out I'm like, girl, he is culture shocked, right? And I had to rewind it a few times, because when she said, because they were talking about what would the winner get, I had to rewind it a few times. I'm like, did she say the winner gets a blowjob or the winner gives a blowjob? But I believe she said the winner gets a blowjob, because she ended up winning, and she said you gotta poke up them lips. I was like, oh, okay. That was just a little bit too much information for me, but hey, whatever. So then after that, we see Antoine and her going car shopping. I was like, does he even have a driver's license to go car shopping? Like, what? So on the way there, they get a flat tire. And Antoine was like, I don't know nothing about changing a flat tire. So she calls, and they're going to have to wait 2 hours to get their tire changed. I would have been like, absolutely not going to happen. So they ended up getting out of the car and going walking. I taught myself how to change a tire because I'll tell you guys a story, short story time, right? So it was 2007. It was the dead of winter. So back in 2007, back in the early 2000s, in the winter here in Texas, we didn't have winters like what we have now, where it's like basically summer. It would get cold in December. Like it would get cold, and I hit a flat tire in. I had just got out of school. I was in college at the time, so I was going to my job. I worked at Abercrombie and Fitch, and the tire blew out. It didn't blow out. It was just on flat, right? I think I hit a nail, right? So the air was slowly leaking out. So I called my mom. I was like, Mama, my tire blew out. She says, well, what do you want me to do? I said, calm. So my uncle, who he spoiled me and he babied me. I said, call Uncle LT. She's like, you call him. I was like, Mama, I don't have his number. We argued. We were arguing. I'm like, Mama, do something. Like, my tire is flat. It's cold. Do something. She's like, that is your car. So you need to figure. So you call him. I said, Mama, call him for me. She says, hold on, Jerome. So she put me on hold. And she called him. I said, you know what, Mama, forget it. Because I got pissed off at her. I said, you know what, Mama, forget it. Don't call Uncle LT. Tell him I said don't come. But he eventually came. When he came, I'm like, I told her to call you back and said don't come. Because what happened is I took everything out the car. So I'm like, I'm gonna figure this shit out on my own. And I figured it out, right? I jacked up the car, and I got all the I got everything off, right? And I changed it. She's like, She's like, so when you actually put your mind to doing something, you can do it. I said, stop talking to me. Because I asked you for help, and you didn't help me. So, yeah, I taught myself how to change a lot of things with my car that I know how to do now. I've taught myself how excuse me, y'all. I've taught myself how to do pretty much everything with my car. Like a few years ago, my trunk, my latch, it broke, right? And I went to Hyundai to have them do it for me, right? They come talking about $500 for it. I was like, whoa, that's a lot of money. Excuse me, I had the money, but I was like, wait a minute, I don't know if I was like, I don't necessarily know if I want to do that, so can y'all just kind of put something on it just to keep it down? They were like, yeah, we'll do that, right? So I went home, I got on Amazon, and I found the latch for the car, right? The thing was $30. I was like, are you serious? And then I went back and I asked them, I'm like, so I had this thing, I had the latch, can y'all put it on? They were like, no, we won't do that. You're gonna have to buy one from us and then pay the part, pay for the installation. I was like, oh, fuck that. So I went back home, I got on YouTube, and I found this video that showed me how to do it, and I changed it on my own. So everything pretty much with my car, I do by myself. If I can do it myself, he's gonna do it, right? Like the one thing that I need to teach myself how to do is change the oil in my car. That is my goal for 2022, is to learn how to change the oil in my car, because he is going to learn how to change his oil as well. Because I get like paying for oil changes. Like my car, the last time I got my oil changed in my car, I spent, I think it was like $70, right? I'm just like, this is a lot of money. So yeah, if you guys can teach yourself how to do stuff on you, I know Antoine was saying that's what mechanics and stuff before, right? But you do realize that mechanics and stuff, they do charge you an arm and a leg when. Sorry, you guys, the battery's down, so we gotta wrap this up. They charge you an arm and a leg when you can, if you do it on your own, you can save yourself buku amounts of dollars, right? But hey, that's neither here nor there, right? So they went to go look at the car. I agree with Lacey when the man was asking them whose name are they gonna put it in. She wants it in Antoine's name. He was like, why not put it in your name? Absolutely not gonna happen. No, sir. But they'll figure it out. So let's move on to the last couple, you guys. All right, you guys. So let's talk about Kevin and Tiffany. I don't know what's up with Kevin and Tiffany. So we see Tiffany. She's meeting up with her friend, right? She's getting a tattoo, right? So she and her friend have been talking about, like, I think she said 10 years, right? But the friend said, you know, hey, when me and Tiffany was hanging out with each other, I saw Tiffany was going down the wrong road, and baby, I ain't had no time for that, so I had to hop off the next train, right? So then, you know, she tells her about what happened with Kevin and Curtis. Now here's my thing. You, from what Kevin told us, you jumped in his DMs and he was just responding to you, right? So you trying to make it seem like he was coming after you, but I'm like, I thought Kevin said you came after him, right? So then she's talking about what happened when Kevin came to pick her up from the halfway house. And I'm like, the way you talking, you making it seem as if this was all on Kevin, but this was you. Now, granted, you told, not Kevin, Curtis. You're making it like it's Curtis' fault, but you told Kevin not to come. Kevin showed up. He he knocked Curtis on his ass, right? And she left for Curtis. She left for Kevin, right? So then she says she's blocked him on Facebook. And the producer came in like, these are for you. These are from Kevin. That was hilarious. That card. He's blaming her for, I guess, you know, his cold heart that he has now, right? So we find out that Kevin is still talking to some of his, he's still talking to that ex, as well as some other girls. So we see her, she's unpacking, right? And while she's unpacking, he's in the kitchen making some coffee, but his phone kept blowing up, right? Because he's still talking to other women. So they then went out to walk the dogs. While they walking the dogs, his phone's going off. She asking him, now this felt like it was set up, right? This felt like set up by production, because the fact that his phone was going off, she asked, who is it? He didn't want to answer her first, but then eventually he said he's talking to other girls, right? She got mad. She went back to the house, closed the door, locked him out. He went back in the house. I guess she must have went and opened the door for him, right? And so she's packing her stuff and she's leaving. She's walking around the corner. I'm like, where is she going? Does she have somewhere to stay? Are you going to stay with your friend? Because you can't go stay with Curtis. That's where the episode ended, you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Please leave your comments in the comment section below and subscribe to the channel and turn on your post notifications so you guys are notified of when I drop anything else. Share this video, and until the next time, you guys stay safe, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, wear a mask, socially distance, be blessed, and I'll see you guys later on tonight for what we got tonight, Love and Marriage Huntsville. So I'm about to edit these videos. I'm about to get out. I'm about to go do some shopping. Then I need some new clothes, and I want to find me I'm looking for me like a circular table for my living room when I do move into my new apartment, because we're gonna redecorate everything. But hey, I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.